Today is Monday, February the 13th, and this is the ADM Investor Services Weekly Market Kickoff. Please note that the views and opinions expressed here today are solely those of our guests and should not be construed as the views or opinions of ADM Investor Services or ADM. Today's guests are Mark Soderberg, ADMIS Senior Ag Analyst, and Alan Bush, ADMIS Senior Financial Economist. Starting with the finances this morning, Alan,
Yes.
Traders will be looking at some economic reports this week. What reports are likely to have the most market moving potential?
Okay, well, actually, we have several reports that are really have a lot of potential to move markets more so than other weeks. Not really anything today, but tomorrow we'll have the January Consumer Price Index that's guessed at up 0.5%. Then we'll have retail sales for January on Wednesday, and that's expected to be up 1.7%. Then on Thursday, we'll have the January Producer Price Index anticipated to be up 0.4%. So it's all about the inflation numbers as of late, and plenty of inflation news coming our way this week.
Alan, looking at some technical analysis in the March S&P 500 futures, what do you think is the next major support area in there?
So actually, I don't really see a major support until the 40.35 high that came in on January 17th. And then there's a secondary support at 40.07. That's the low on January 31st. These are quite a ways away, especially now that we have seen some good gains today. But those are major support levels that I think will ultimately hold. Even if we get close to those points, those should be the points that will hold support.
Alan, lastly, in your opinion, how many more Fed funds rate hikes will be coming from the FOMC in this cycle?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm on board with everybody else for the upcoming meeting on March 22nd to raise by 25 basis points. That would take the Fed funds rate to 4.75% to 5%. Also, the market seems to think now that there will be another 25 basis point hike at the May 3rd meeting. So that is the consensus. I'm not on board with the second rate hike. Keep in mind that it's a long way until the May meeting. A lot can happen, especially if the inflation numbers come in a bit on the softer side. So while the consensus view is for 2 more rate hikes this cycle, I'm only going with 1 more rate hike, and that would be at the next meeting on March 22nd.
Thanks, Alan. Mark, turning toward the grain markets and last week's USDA reports, were there any major surprises?
No, not really. The markets were not expecting much change with the U.S. balance sheets, and that's pretty much exactly what we saw. Corn ending stocks did rise 25 million bushels as a result of a 25 million bushel cut in corn used for the production of ethanol. I think most thought that export sales were the ones that were going to change. As expected, there was no change there in corn or in soybeans. In soybeans, we did see a 15 million bushel increase in ending stocks as a result of lower crush. Moving forward now, I don't think we're going to see big changes in March neither. We did see some changes in South American production, not from Brazil. Those both the corn and soybean forecasts were left unchanged. However, we did see a 5 million metric ton cut in the Argentine soybean production estimate. And 4.5 in corn. So both of these were slightly bigger cuts than the market had expected. However, they were within the range of expectations.
So not a whole lot to trade off the reports last week, but Mark, what do you think will be the biggest factors driving agricultural prices this week?
Well, of course, we're going to be monitoring the any day-to-day demand announcements and the usual ethanol production report on Wednesday and export sales on Thursday. And war headlines are always a possibility. However, I think weather the first half of this week in South America is really going to have the biggest impact on prices this week. It was a hot, dry week last week, so rain is much needed. There had been rains in the forecast. However, as we got closer to this past weekend, they started to reduce those estimates. There were some rains that fell yesterday afternoon and evening through much of southern Argentina. More rains will be needed, and there are chances here for the next couple of days. So the exact amounts of rainfall and the coverage of these, I think, will be key to price discovery this week.
Mark, last week we saw a little bit of news regarding some Chinese purchases. Did those come through, and what do you see there?
And not just yet. Yes, there was rumors 3 to 5 cargoes of U.S. being sold to China. There's been no formal announcement yet from the USDA this morning. We'll be on high alert for that this week, and then of course in the sales report on Thursday. So yes, that could be with no follow-up demand behind that. I think that could be a buy the rumor, sell the fact type trade, like we saw prices spike up both on Friday and so far this morning.
Mark, lastly, can you give us an update on the CFTC commitment of traders report, if any?
Yeah, unfortunately, there has been none. They continue to experience some technical problems and reporting firms putting these positions into the data. So we did get an announcement from the CFTC on Friday. It was going to be delayed another week. Hopefully, these technical issues are resolved this week, and we'll get this data at the end of the week on Friday.
Very good. Thank you both. Remember, the views and opinions expressed today on this video are solely those of our guests and should not be construed as the views or opinions of ADM Investor Services or ADM. If you'd like more information about our brokerage services, would like to speak to one of our experts about managing your risks, or would like to open a trading account, please visit www.admis.com.